What's the wildest thing that ever happened when you were supposed to be responsible? I agreed to babysit my neighbor's kids for a weekend, but when the house caught fire during our board game, I had to hide the truth from everyone and pretend it never happened. I had barely finished agreeing to babysit the Thompson kids when I realized the enormity of what I had just committed to. A simple "sure, I'll watch them this weekend" had slipped out of my mouth like a harmless promise. But now, standing on their front porch with a bag of snacks, a deck of board games, and the faint smell of freshly baked cookies lingering from their kitchen, I felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on me. The Thompsons were known for their busy schedules. Both parents worked long hours, and weekends like this were their rare moments of freedom. They trusted me, someone they barely knew beyond casual neighborly exchanges, to keep their children entertained, fed, and, most importantly, safe for the entirety of the weekend. The kids, 7-year-old Lucas and 10-year-old Emma, bounded toward me with boundless energy, their backpacks slung over their shoulders and eyes sparkling with the anticipation of a weekend of fun. Lucas immediately grabbed my hand and pulled me into the living room, where a stack of board games lay neatly on the coffee table. Emma, a more cautious observer, lingered by the kitchen counter, nibbling on a piece of apple and eyeing me with what I interpreted as a blend of curiosity and silent judgment. Their energy was infectious, but I quickly realized that it was also overwhelming. I had babysat before, yes, but never two children so close in age and with such different temperaments, and never for an entire weekend without the Thompsons' guidance. I decided to start simple: a board game marathon. Monopoly, Candyland, Clue, the classics. Lucas was immediately eager to start, already shouting rules and making wild accusations against Emma's choices. Emma, ever the strategist, approached each move with calculated precision, quietly plotting her victory while maintaining a thin veil of politeness. I found myself swept into the excitement, laughing at Lucas's over-the-top theatrics and marveling at Emma's strategic brilliance. For a while, everything felt manageable, even enjoyable. The house buzzed with the sort of chaotic energy only children can create: laughter, small arguments, the occasional thud of a toy hitting the floor. But it was the kind of chaos I could handle, or so I thought. Dinner time came, and I attempted to maintain some semblance of order. I heated up the pizza the kids had begged for, set the table, and made sure drinks were poured. They chattered incessantly about school, friends, and the latest trends in their small, pre-teen universe. As I served the food, I noticed a small flame flickering near the stove atop where I had left a pan warming. A pan I had meant to use for later. It was tiny, barely noticeable, but instinctively, I rushed over and blew it out, laughing nervously to convince myself it had been nothing. "Almost caught me off guard, huh?" I said, trying to keep the mood light. Lucas looked up with wide eyes, clearly thrilled by what he interpreted as a small adventure, while Emma merely raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. The night unfolded in a blur of games, snacks, and bedtime negotiations. I managed to get Lucas and Emma tucked in with some difficulty, promising stories, quiet music, and a nightlight. As I turned off the hallway light and closed their door, I allowed myself a moment to breathe. The first day had gone better than expected. I slumped onto the couch in the living room, exhausted but feeling a small spark of pride. I had survived the chaos of the day, managed to keep the children fed and entertained, and even navigated the minor flame incident in the kitchen without incident. It was late, almost midnight, when I decided to tackle the dishes and tidy up. That's when I noticed the faint smell of smoke. At first, I thought it was coming from the fireplace, but a glance revealed that the fire had been extinguished hours ago. I moved cautiously through the kitchen, tracing the scent, and my stomach dropped. A thin wisp of smoke curled up from the pan I had used earlier, a pan I had forgotten to remove from the stovetop. My heart raced. I fumbled for the oven mitts, tried to pick it up, and realized with horror that flames had started to spread to the nearby dish towels. Full story on my channel, link below.